Hi, second grade scientists. This is Mrs. Shepherd, and I am making this video for you from my guest room in my house where our visitors stay when they come to visit us. So this is my first time ever making a video online. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me if I mess up the picture or you can't see anything as well as you would in the classroom. So this week you are going to be learning about animal adaptations. This will be something that we actually will be learning about for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And this week is just all about getting our brains focused back on animals and life science and what animals do and what body parts they have to help them survive where they live. There are two types of adaptations, two big categories. The first one is structural adaptations. The structures or the body parts that an animal has to survive. And the second is behavioral adaptations. How does that animal behave? How does it act? What choices does it make and what does it do to help it survive where it lives? So this week I'm going to kickstart your learning by reading a read aloud. How and why do animals adapt? And then you'll follow the list that I've created of the other learning to do at home. I miss seeing you in class. I wish we were doing this all together. How and why do animals adapt? Why do animals adapt? Sometimes when there are big changes in an animal's life, the animal has to change to stay alive. Changing to suit a new habitat is called adaptations. Animals adapt to find food, survive hot and cold temperatures, and escape danger. The animals that adapt easily are the ones that have the best chance of staying alive. Many animal adaptations have happened over hundreds or even millions of years. Some happen more quickly. Adaptations can happen in the body or in the way an animal behaves. Changing how they move. Changing the way that they move has helped some animals get from place to place faster. Birds and bats made one of the biggest adaptations when their bodies changed so that they could fly. Other animals have also adapted their ways of moving to suit new habitats or keeping themselves safe. Climbing trees. Most kangaroos hop along the ground, but one kind of kangaroo climbs trees and lives up in the branches. Tree kangaroos have adapted to living in trees because forests grew in their habitats and they could find more food if they got up into the trees. So this shows in these diagrams, it shows the difference between a kangaroo, when you and I think of a normal kangaroo, and then here is one of the tree kangaroos. And you can look here at some of the differences. The leg shapes are different, the claws are different, the tail even looks a bit different to help them climb trees where they have more trees in their habitat. Adapting to deserts. Okay. Deserts are dry places with very little rain. Very few plants grow in the deserts because they are so dry. So animals that live there must adapt in order to find enough food and water to stay alive. Camels, for example, store fat in the humps on their backs. The fat provides them with energy when they cannot find food or water. Some animals live in burrows or holes to stay out of the sun. So here is a fennec fox, which lives in a desert, and it is coming out of its burrow, its hole in the ground where it goes to stay cool. Here we have some camels, okay, and as you can see, this camel only has one hump, and this camel lives somewhere else, and it has two humps. And this caption, it talks about how their humps are filled with fat. They're not actually filled with water, like lots of adults think. And when they cannot find water for a long time, their body breaks down the fat that they store in their humps and uses the energy to continue to survive. Winter adaptations. Okay? Some animals live in cold places for all or part of the year. Body adaptations and changes in behavior keep them warm in the freezing cold temperatures. This is an image of a snow leopard, and it has adapted to winter in its rocky mountain home. The leopard has thick fur to help keep it warm. Its long tail helps give it balance as it runs. Its big chest helps it to breathe the thin air that's up in the mountains. And they have huge paws that help them to walk and climb in the snow. A bear sleeps during much of the winter. It wakes up on the warmer days to stretch or snack on the stored food, and this is called hibernation. So there are quite a few animals that hibernate as a way of adapting to living in the cold. Leaving their habitats. Many animals migrate or move to other habitats to escape the cold weather, to find food and water, and have babies. Many kinds of birds, such as Canadian geese and Arctic terns, migrate to warmer places for the winter. So any animals that migrate or go to warmer places for the winter, that is considered a behavioral adaptation. Humpback whales also migrate from cold oceans to warm oceans to give birth to their calves and their babies in the warmer water. Some animals, here it has some elephants, and this is quite a sad image. Some animals lose their homes because people cut down the forests or build farms where the animals once lived. This baby elephant has gone under an electric fence that was built by a farmer to keep the elephants off the land. Now its mother is not able to fit under the fence to get to it. So one of these things that would be important to think about is how are humans impacting animals and changing their habitats, and then forcing those animals to make more adaptations to survive with humans around. Living in groups. One of the most important adaptations that animals have made is living in groups. Animals that belong to families or communities can help one another find food and keep safe. Examples of animals that live in groups are monkey troops, so groups of monkeys, lion prides, groups of lions, dolphin pods, and meerkat mobs. Here's a picture of a meerkat mob, and here's what the caption says. Meerkats live in mobs of 20 to 30 members. They live in large underground homes. Groups of the meerkats guard their homes and watch for predators, while others look for food. Working together helps to keep these animals safe. This is a group of Japanese macaw monkeys, also known as snow monkeys, and they're all staying warm in a warm hot spring, a warm pool of water coming up from the earth, and they also are keeping each other company. It's kind of like a natural hot tub, and that's one of their adaptations, a behavior. They're staying together, and they found a spot to stay warm when it's cold. And they also help to groom each other and pick bugs and other things off of their fur. The great predators. Here we go. Some animals have developed coloring or patterns on their bodies that help them blend in with their habitats. This is called camouflage. Camouflage helps hide them from predators or prey. Many animals also use mimicry. Mimicry makes animals look like plants or other animals, making it hard to tell what or where they are. Did you guess that this scary-looking animal is a small insect called a praying mantis? Leaf insects in this image, can you see it? Leaf insects look and move like the leaves on which they live. They are hidden by camouflage, and they blend in with the leaves on the plants around them. New kinds of animals. The bodies of some animals have changed so much that it's hard to believe that they are part of the animal groups in which they belong. Mud skippers, tree shrews, and aye-ayes are just a few examples. So here are pictures of mud skippers. Let me go closer. Okay, here's a mud, wrong finger. Here's a mud skipper. Mud skippers are fish that can live on land as well as in the water. They can walk, skip, leap, dig, and swim. They can even climb trees. These fish can breathe through their mouths and their skin. So that, boys and girls, is one animal that has tons of adaptations that it has gathered over time to help it survive. This is a lemur, and unlike other lemurs, eyes, a specific type of lemur, have developed teeth like rodents. Rodents would be like rats and mice. They have these long teeth for chewing, and they have long middle fingers on their hands for pulling bugs out of trees. They also have toes that are super long to allow them to hang on to tree branches. So it's one type of lemur that has even more adaptations. Many animals must live in cities. When cities take up the land that was once their habitats, some animals adapt easily to the city life and live longer because they can find more food there. City animals include squirrels, foxes, coyotes, coy wolves, raccoons, opossums, and skunks. So there are many animals that live amongst us in our cities, and the ones that do the best are the ones that are able to adapt and have new habits, new behaviors that help them live around the humans. So we have in this picture, it looks like someone has some cat food they've left out for their cat, but there's a raccoon that has found it and is eating it. So he's kind of scavenging his food. Red foxes, they do really well around human populated areas because they can find food. This one is hunting squirrels, rats, and mice. Squirrels can do well around humans because they find food left in the trees and in people's backyards. Skunks often live under people's decks or garages. They dig up the grass of people's houses looking for grubs and little bugs to eat in the soil. And this is a coy wolf. It's part coyote and part wolf. And it can actually live in many cities and has adapted really well. There's a good picture for you. So this last page has us thinking about how do we adapt. Compare and contrast your adaptations to those of the animals in the book. So I want you to think about, as humans, how do we adapt to different places when we go and visit different places? How do we adapt to different situations? And as you're doing all of your learning this week, I want you to think and read about animals and what helps them to survive. That's really what an adaptation is. Do they have special ears? Do they have a special covering on their body to help them stay warm? Do they have feet that are special? What do they have that is going to help them survive where they live? So I hope that some of you will send me emails or messages about what you've been doing at home. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, but have fun learning about animal adaptations. Bye, guys.